Hello and welcome to Ironcast. My name's Anuki. That's the intro complete. This is Baseville, a 4v4. Now let me tell you about Baseville. In fact, no, let me tell you about these players first, then we're going to spend the whole game talking about Baseville. I'll tell you why. Okay, on the far left, as the Axis forces today is AI player Easy. Ooh, kind of tricky name that, because they're actually a player trying to fool their opponents into thinking they're just an AI. Next to them is a pretty hard name to pronounce, and I'm just going to call them Mammy because it's their force for... Oh, wow, we're getting some grenades off on the wall, destroying that section of wall, losing an infantry soldier for it. Still actually worth it. This early in the game, not having those walls. You know, if they can just get rid of these walls as well, I think they'll be sitting nicely. Next to them is Hellfire Fox over on the middle point, having some light sparring engagements, building some sandbags, all early game stuff. And over to the far right, the western front is Lieutenant Ghost, taking a bit of a detour to this point, trying to flank these soldiers behind the wall. You know what, I kind of like it, but we got a few soldiers trying to push up. They get gunned down from the side. Will this pay off for Lieutenant Ghost? We'll find out soon enough, but let's quickly introduce their enemies. They are facing the Great Kidney Enthusiast as their direct opponent. To the left is Parry 02 and Chimichurri, and last, but very not least, Aliodos. Aliodos. Made a BA-64 come out charging for the Soviets, but that just got taken out pretty quickly. Not sure about rushing into the enemy back lines this early on in the game when there's really not too much to conquer, and you could easily spawn an 80 infantry soldier to take that out. Now, Baseville. What about Baseville? Go out here from Hellfire Fox. Again, rushing straight into the point. AT rifle. Quickly disposes almost of it. Ooh. Having a little bit of trick getting that penetration angle. It's man versus tank. Man wins. So it seems. Baseville. Now, I think it's the most popular 4v4 map. And the reason that is because of this central point. Look at it. You just know you want to see this place turned to dust. I know I do. I love, like, you know, seeing Goliaths and big rockets and stuff just go straight for the buildings. And in Assault Squad 1, it would lag like hell. But we don't have that anymore because, one, we have replays, and two, the optimization of the game was the main thing for Assault Squad 2. More grenades being thrown. So, what makes Baseville particularly interesting is not just any one thing. It is such a dynamic map. Like, every single starting position that you have is just so different. Now, we are on the east side of the map. We have this river that's just kind of, you know, drawing a line in the sand, as a popular saying goes. On this side of the map, you've got a lot of cover. A lot of cover all in that area. The other side of the map, not so much. Which might seem kind of unfair, but it is kind of easy to drop down a load of sandbags, and you should not underestimate the power of this building and that wall. Like, it's really good for mortars and stuff to get infantry that's just kind of hiding behind heavy cover, move up on them, creep up on them, get some grenades in. You can get pretty close to that heavy cover. And then over to the right, we have a little bit more urban. You know, cover here, cover there, cover there. So this point to me kind of favors the opposing side of the map. Ooh, Oswin coming out. And a heavy machine gun too. See the heavy machine gun back there. What a tremendous early game buy. Now I wonder how the Allied forces are going to deal with this one. The Oswin could really shred all of the sandbags if it got a bit closer, but does it want to do that? No, in fact, it can do it from this range perfectly okay. It's just taking a little bit of time. So yeah, between these 2 points, it seems like it's easier for our side of the map to contest this point, easier for the enemy to contest this point. It's that kind of asymmetric balance that we like to see. Oh, we've got some Zukas coming out. Did not penetrate the Ostwind. In fact, no, it did damage it. It was on fire, but it's okay. Quick, very quick repair. Oh, another shot! Dad's hurting the crew inside for sure. Soldiers reinforce the wall, making sure no one else tries to do the same thing. Looks good. And we've still not come to the rest of Baseville. Oh, T-34 comes out from Aliotos. Takes a shot. Ostwind in a very vulnerable spot now, and so is the infantry. There's nothing really to contest this tank. You know, it could, you know, maybe swing around here. Try and get that infantry. But it needs infantry support to make sure that no one's gonna go in with a rocket of their own. We've got a HOE out now, arc firing onto that T-34. Pretty glorious tank, but I don't think it's not gonna cut it. T-34 moves. In fact, the arc fire would do tremendously well against the infantry. But it's more of a question of priority right now. Do they really need to take out the infantry more than they need to take out the T-34? That is a decision left to Commander. Right, we are needing to get to the other side of the map and discuss some of the action here, because we have a lot of sandbags down in the ground and not much Axis forces around in this zone. Got a veteran sniper back here on the bottom side of our map. Down he goes. Lieutenant Ghost with a whole division of infantry all over the place. So let's discuss this part of the map. I think the most interesting one is to discuss over here. We've got a Luke's as well, situated back here, but nice line of heavy cover there. You can hide behind this building here, and then you've got kind of this ditch area back here. Really, it is in favor of this side. It is a lot easier to kind of just defend this area and fortify it than it is to attack, because the cover is just in your favor. You know, you can see this nice open zone back behind this wall. Whereas if you come at it from the opposite angle, and go from this side, you take cover behind that wall, and you have a building in front of you. You can't really see far, so things can just grenade you, flamethrower you. I particularly love going in with a flamethrower. Especially up this ridge, because you can arc it over the ridge whilst the enemy cannot shoot you. But then you've got this kind of point here, and again, it's kind of that asymmetry. Because you can... And this one's very subtle as well. Like, here is a very key position. If you can get rid of all these trees, you can see down this ridge quite perfectly. Now, is it fair? I don't know. War is not fair. But Baseville, nonetheless, is a fantastic map. AT gun sat very close to the front line. Interesting that a lot of these vehicles are very close to the front. Ostwind repaired, retreating, T-34 also getting repaired. We got a slugger out here now as well. That's a big, big purchase. Our HOE is still kicking. Ostwind again damaged, hurt, and explosions in the background. There's so much action in 4v4. And we haven't even got to the middle point. Snipers picking away at soldiers as well. Is that 2 snipers? I think it's just 1. Or rather, rifle grenade squad leaders out there at the front. You want to try and keep them at the back. Rifle grenades are very useful. Loving the position of this machine gun. In a pothole, firing over a sandbag line. You couldn't get better cover, really. T-60s are out. Seems like our Axis forces are getting overwhelmed by enemy armor. But think about this for a moment. They are pretty well on score. Sure. They've got armor superiority. Sure. They lose their T-60 to Azuka. Sure. They lose their slugger. Doesn't get out alive, unfortunately. Now, that paid off. But my point was this. So far, we have not seen much of a response from the Axis. They are up, down by 50 points, yes. But what can they bring out? Because I'm expecting some big purchases soon. They've managed to defeat a hefty chunk of valuable assets. And now, surely is the time for them to counter-strike. I think this is the same AT gun that was down here. It's just been repositioned. No, it is not, unless this is a new one. We got 2 AT guns. Liking it. Got a Cromwell, which again I think is always a useful tool to have. But maybe it doesn't need to be over on that side of the map. Sandbags going down. Oh, mammy. Heavy machine gun still kicking. The point is not theirs. They need to crawl a soldier. That's it. Get in there. Get in the little hole. Maybe trying to finish off the slugger. That would be good. That would be wise. We only have to be slightly concerned with the giant gap that has kind of been left in this area as the Allies advance, potentially to a point over here. I'd say that's overkill. They should swing it over here. Work together. 2 on 1 point. Which brings me to another interesting Baseville fact. Who remembers this building? It is full of cows, and at some point the cows will escape. Place your bets on 1 minute that'll be. It's gonna happen, it always does. And then someone screams, "The cows are loose!" Oh, that was a nasty blow. What's happening with that soldier? You see his back there? That did not look healthy. Lines of soldiers now forming. Need to get them spread out. Hellfire Fox might be the victim of a very nasty Cromwell shot. The building's kind of blocking it from this angle. Could take a shot. Healing up his soldiers, taking care of them. Oswin looks like it has an interesting target. But since the Slugger was defeated, the T-60, the T-34, it's got a bit of a breather. Another, wow, this Oswind is just soaking up bazooka shots. Very interested to see the AI play it easy is moving their heavy machine gun up more and more. Here comes the finishing blow to the Slugger. It's still fine. For a tank destroyer, pretty well armored it appears. Another one. What you want to do is move up a soldier, take out the TNT inside there, and then use that to blow it up with. That's the skill that needs to be employed. Out comes a... Is that a croc? Oh my god, it is! Oh no! That was a very high arcing flame shot. Our whole squad is burnt. 2 Rice Krispies! And then... Very close up. Today is not Panzer Shrek's and Bazooka's day. Like, I've seen so many fire, so many hit, and yet just not really function as they typically do. They're lethal shots. You know, usually it stops them from being able to drive. I want to see this guy fire again. Go on, use your machine gun. Yeah, his spine is messed up. Oh god. Seems a bit disproportional to the actual caliber of the gun. But I'm no weapons expert. My only real experience of weapons is playing Pavlov VR, which is a fantastic game. But it's hard to play in Europe because a lot of people you play against in America, it just lags. Supplies going out for the HOE. It is a survivor. It must have got a lot of kills racked up. Surely the slugger would have been the unit to try and take that out priority, but it was too invested with a finally, goddamn bazooka kills something. Just a lowly half track. Stopped it dead in its half tracks. Control is now shifting, it seems, ever so slightly into the Axis favor. 2 points to 70 to 16 minutes in. That is quite a heavy blow. But I don't think as much a heavy blow than this advance is just being stopped. They didn't even get past there. AI player easy, kicking it up to medium. Mammy moving over to the central point. You know, this point has not been as heavily contested as perhaps it should be. I mean, there doesn't seem to be anything in it now. It's just a soldier in there, why don't we? Just go. Go. Please. Very brave infantry soldier. Unable to get a successful grenade off. Another slugger coming out. Gonna try for the Oswind. Oswind is not phased. It will continue doing its duty to the death. Trying to penetrate that building with some infantry behind it. Struggle with that one for sure. Central point now being contested. We have all 5 zones potentially to the Axis. Is this the turnaround that they were hoping for? Mortar out here. Fantastic positioning. Again, like, these are dips in the ground. All here. Fantastic places for mortars. Make sure that you have AT rifles or bazooka soldiers around there to stop any enemy vehicles coming in to try and run them over. People love to do that. They buy a cheap, light, fast vehicle and then just try and run down a mortar. Oswind caught in a unusual spot. It was a little bit too far up. You can see in the distance we have a 3.7-inch AA cannon. Interesting position. Very well hidden. Sluggers moving up. We got another crocodile. Or is it the same crocodile? Oh, I wish I kept my eye on it. H out here, unfortunately, might be completely rendered immobile. Not repairable. It looks in pretty good shape, but it's definitely not. Crocodile coming in hot. And you know what? All of these trees and buildings make it so much worse, but going this far forward without checking your back is gonna lead to a triple AT grenade to the engine. Clench your butts for this explosion. Oh my god. It always pains me to see when tanks go that far up with no infantry just watching their back. It feels sad. Because I'm a very infantry-orientated player. T60 and Slugger moving in. That could be potentially very destructive. There doesn't seem to be much of a counter to either of those components. A lot of the action seems to be happening on this eastern side of the map. The crocodile is repairable. I wonder if Mammy or AI player Easy will want to repair it. Lots of infantry over on the opposite side of the map. Wanting to get in this zone. There goes the T60. Explosion. Good job to the Cheeto. good use of this ridge. Blocking that line of sight. Popping in when you need to. Taking a shot. Very difficult shot to make. Ooh, 3485 now. Not even needed. But that tank will prove useful if they want to try and advance and take out some of the infantry on that point. Now, what's happening on this side of the map? Lieutenant Ghost just seems to be very dug in, but dug in against absolutely nothing. It's probably why they've been maybe helping out at this point a little bit. You can see the blue dots on the map. They've been working on the middle of the map. Got another heavy mortar coming in. Again, this might be overkill on trying to protect that area of the map. Lone machine gunner back there. Lots of interesting things coming up. Half track full of soldiers. Is it full of soldiers? Yes, it is full of soldiers. Oh, eject, abort! Get them out! I don't even know what's potentially going to kill everyone here. All I know is typically if you drive in a half track full of soldiers, bad stuff tends to happen. This time though, they're doing okay. They've advanced all the way up to the sandbags. You know, if they took over this wall, they could fire down here. They'd have the heavy cover advantage, all good stuff. Now we've got a heavy fighting over on the Axis side of the map. The Allies might be turning this back round in their favor. Nice back and forth action. It's kind of what I like to see, as well as giant explosions. What was that? Get it on the next replay, I think. Slugger being direct controlled. Wants that Oswind. Got a Stew back here as well. I think the Oswind can really do too much here. Maybe this Panzer Grenadier with the Panzerfaust. If they just get themselves into a nice hiding position, I think they could sneak around. Stay hidden. Because that Slugger did kind of go far up, and they might try it again. If you just tempt them, just say, hey, I've got a little Oswind here. You like to maybe move on up into my Panzerfaust. Got a lot of neutral points now. And nobody on them, no one catching them. So the points are even. Weirdly. But who will make the first step? Here we go, over. The great kidney enthusiast. The cows are loose! And the cows are also getting artilleried. So we got one mortar back here, two mortars. Is it mortar overkill? It could very well be. But they will constantly drain throughout the entire game. Enemy infantry just hiding back behind these sandbags. And there were so many here earlier, but they're not in a situation where they thrive anymore. Pershing is out. I don't disagree. Radio operators also firing some barrages. I think they tried to get as close as they could. How many dead radio operators do we? The radio? No, tank crewman. There's a radio operator somewhere, that's for sure. I don't think the radio operator is really the tool for the job here. But it is a tool that can or potentially do the job. One of the great things about Assault Squad is there are plenty of soft counters. There are so many ways you can just destroy things. It's just a matter of being crafty enough or intelligent or creative or some kind of positive attribute to be able to pull it off. And that separates the good commanders from the great. Fantastic bazooka shot there. Now, another thing I want to say about Baseville that I forgot to mention at the start, that this is not a good map for armor. It is a pretty small map. It's a squashed map. And a lot of players... You know, you don't have that nice flat ground to have those long-range engagements in much of the map. So really, all you can, you know, hope to do if you want to play armor is be able to dart around the map and find like these, you know, the perfect angle to do what you need to do. And I like that. It's, you know, flat maps, you know, in contrast. You have situations where you can just park a vehicle really, really far away, hit them from max range, and it's just a matter of who has the greater firepower. Like, it's not as interesting. But right now, you know, this Ostwind, it could duck behind some heavy cover. It is reversing, and this is not flat ground. This is kind of a hill. You know, breaks that line of sight. Still gets hit in the turret. Seems the damage, though, is being returned. We've got a couple of 76ers out here. And they seem to be doing some good work. Another Cheeto trying to get a good angle on one of the 76ers. And again, this is like perfect timing. This demonstrates exactly what I was talking about. Nice angle. Can we get another one? Might be risking it. One's good, two would be better. 1 second shot, second shot. Where's that second shot? I think they might be lacking tank crew. There's no gunner. He's gone into the driver's position, perhaps. No, there's got to be at least 2 guys in there. I don't think he wants to risk it. I don't think the Stu can do the job. Repairs going on. Maybe the turret was damaged. Axis up to 50 points. Allies with 74. Mortars are raining down. Constant hell. You can see the infantry in this sector has just been obliterated. They cannot stay there for long. And one has to ask, what can I do about it? Really, I think what they need to bring in is just some light artillery. I know, this gets me. People really want to buy the big artillery units. Why buy the light artillery for like 500 when you can wait an extra 150 and get the bigger one? Well, sometimes the light artillery one is all you need. You don't need a big one to take out these mortars. And these mortars are the problem. That is the roadblock. That's the choke point. That's the bottleneck for advancing into this point right now. If they could take that out, then they can start moving infantry in. And then the infantry will have a problem. The infantry will have to deal with the tanks. And guess what? You then tackle that problem. One problem at a time. And you find that it eventually all falls apart. Another T-60 out. I'm pretty surprised to see that many light vehicles out at this point. But I do think light vehicles are kind of the better option to bring out. Especially in this situation right now. Most of the Axis armor has been defeated or is non-existent. We've got a westbound here, but that's nothing to be concerned about. Cheeto on the opposite side of the map, but nothing around here as of yet. We've got some vehicle repairs going off, but in terms of just holding this point, are we taking it? T-60 hiding behind the buildings. Oh my god! Oh my god! Again! Ooh! Now this mechanized assault may just pay off. Take the wall, take the wall! Get in there. Infantry battles commence down the road. We have a mortar back here too. I feel like the game plan overall for the Axis is to get these big mortars out and just line them up across the map. I said that very fancily. Across. Veterancy going on as well. Not sure how that quite affects the mortars. I assume that they just get a little bit of health, a little bit of accuracy. That seems to be the case in Gates of Hell, which I hope that we will be covering soon. T-60 just driving on by. Nothing seems to be threatening it. And there's the rundown. That's what we wanted to stop. Oh my god, really? This T-60 is so evasive. Can he get out? Don't believe it! It did. Good job. Don't go back in though. Don't go back in. Don't push your luck. Ranger trying to lead the way. Again, take the TNT out of the half track and just toss it over there. TNT is your friend. Probably even have some AT grenades at your disposal. And what's in the box? A Ho-Ha half track from the Axis with 3 machine guns pointed in all kinds of directions. Pershing destroyed. Can't wait to see how that happened. Just gonna drive down the middle of the road, gunning everyone down. The Allies seem to be out of juice almost. I remember what I said earlier, they did bring in a lot of vehicles. And yes, it was pretty devastating to the Axis. But it was only devastating to the infantry that they had out. And the units they had out. And they didn't bring much out. Because they just waited. They endured. They held on for a little bit longer. And I kind of get the feeling that once we get to the end score screen, we'll see the numbers. We'll see the damage inflicted by the Axis. Will be greater than what the Allies managed to do. Cheeto with a good shot. But not good enough. M16 backs away. How are they going to use that M16 later on? I can't see it contesting the Ostwind. I'd like to see that croc repaired. Definitely not going to contest the Cheeto. So maybe this right-hand side would be good. I think it's the only real place it can go to, and even then it's going to have to look out for mortar and west fire. So not much hope there. 72, 73, 74. The Axis are about to be even. Now we're entering the late game where resources are going to be pretty limited for players, unless someone's been saving up. Do we see any big units out there? I don't think so. So players are going to have to make use of what they've got. And what they've got left. And you know what? When everything's been destroyed and all you have left is an Ostwind, that could be pretty good. All those infantry like scavenging around looking for some kind of anti-tank measures. You know, anything. Sneak position. Takes out a soldier. I'll take out the Ostwind. Oh my god, a super Pershing! This is the kind of big tank I was talking about, but when all you have is a super Pershing and no goddamn infantry to support it, and you are exposing your rear armor to bazooka fire, you just gotta run away and try and outrun it. It is just taking everything on the nose cone. Double Zook shot. And the turret is still spinning. We gotta run around that turret. There we go. Oh my god. Such a fantastic vehicle. Big loss for the Allies, and I think that's their hope gone. Decimated. We had 2 Pershings out this game. Heavy investment, but those big units, they need backup. They're only as strong as the vision that you provide them and the covering fire. They're long-range tanks. You bring them on for long-range combat. Yeah, that's why units like the KV-1, which is a tank I do like to see on this map, that Aliodos could have brought out. You know, they have, you know, by the time that you can get them out, they have very heavy armor. Not much you can really pen them. So for, you know, maybe like a couple of minutes or something, you can have like a really good, beefy tank to drive in there. And all you have to watch out for is any kind of rockets. And here are those rockets. Chimichurri going out in a ball of fire. So, let's congratulate our winners. The Axis forces have won, and it's a terrible thing, just not for Hellfire Fox, Mammy, AI Player Easy, and Lieutenant Ghost. As always, join the Ironcast Discord and let's talk tactics. And you can reinforce the Patreon, send care packages to the editor team so they can make more videos. A big thank you to them for just allowing me to sit here and cast, really. Now, enjoy the highlights, and I'll see you for the next Ironcast.